You've done a lot this year.
Yep.
Yeah, you're brand new to the Surrey School District.
Yep.
Came in halfway through.
November. Yeah.
And got the tail end of the first term.
Yeah.
And started the second term. And then we proceeded to develop the 9-10 Block B. We had developed part of it at the start, but we didn't have enough, so we gave it all to you.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of innovation. This is a lab, and yet computer lab with all these computers, we brought in iPads. Why did you bring in iPads in the lab?
Mobility, really. I think when you give them the freedom to move around as well as create on technology, they have freedom to do more interesting stuff. So one of the things I've sort of been thinking about and sort of noticed is you let them get up, they get more involved. The ones that aren't overly involved like to be able to get up and move around. Sitting there in one spot is hard for them. So if they can get up and move around and work at the same time, they create some fun stuff. So what I would like to try and do in the future is make the whole computing experience more fluid and more like mobile for them. So if they want to sit down and develop web stuff, then they don't have to be stuck in one place in the room. They can move around and create while they're moving. I think that would be kind of a really interesting project to do along the way.
Well, talk about projects. You've done iMotion.
Yep.
iMovie.
Yep.
Any other apps I should know about?
No, it's mostly those two with the stop motion animation stuff. They're the ones that have tended, like, because they're already apps on the iPad, they were easy to sort of get them mobile and get them creating with those. They're also pretty intuitive for the kids to kind of work out what to do. They just press buttons, and they taught me stuff along the way, like putting in onion skins so that they could line up things to match in the same spot and stuff like that. So it was my first experience with those apps as well. So it was a learning curve for both of us, and they tend to pick up stuff a little bit faster and taught me along the way, and I just threw out confidence and said, "Oh yeah, that's great, that's wonderful, yeah," and then just went off and pretended to teach as if I knew it. I think when it comes to the different levels using the iPad, it allows them to create stuff more at their level in a more comfortable way. Because they can get mobile, because they can move around and they can work with other people that's at that same level, you can sort of give them a few suggestions and let them try out the tech themselves.
That was it. It was the suggestions.
Yeah.
Some kids got more suggestions than other kids.
Yeah, some did get, the ones that were more advanced got like a few more suggestions each time, getting a little bit harder and a little bit harder each time. Not having them stuck there waiting for me in one spot at a computer meant that they could come to me and say, "Hey," and do the motion and say, I want to do this, how do I do this? And so I could say either Google it, or I'd show them if I had just figured out how to do it myself.
So you were teaching them how to be self-directed as well as to teach themselves a
Absolutely.
real tool.
Yeah. So if I can get one kid to figure out how to do something and then to explain it to someone else, and I feel like they've actually learnt what they're trying to do, and they possess the knowledge now to be able to apply it in different ways. So being able to tell other students a skill that they have mastered means that they have to try and explain it so that that student understands, which might be a different way to how they learn themselves.
You've also been looking at project-based learning.
Yeah.
And journalizing your learning and so on and so forth. You've also done electronic portfolios.
Yep.
And the kids critically thinking about what they've been doing. You've tried a lot. What's your favorite one of everything you tried?
I think when it comes to the IT stuff, teaching the IT stuff, I think the project-based learning is going to be the one that I would like to use more often. But it's definitely something where IT lends itself to quite readily, where it's like, here's something that needs to be done. It's you have to develop something, you have to solve this problem, you have to create this thing. Here's a couple of tools for you to be able to do that. Now, go off and try and do it. And if I can keep track of what they're doing and make sure that they're continually being pushed along the path to complete this task, then I feel like they're not only learning how to solve problems and how to create things, but they're also learning the computational skills to make these things happen as well. So I think that project-based learning is definitely something that's going to be really cool for IT. Have them sort of develop the curriculum and then fill in the things as they complete it. Mm-hmm. And then you could use that as a way of journaling as opposed to blogging. Mm-hmm. They could, as they complete stuff, their website would be the one that shows what it is.
And it would grow and grow.
Yeah.
And you can also use that website then for your summative assessment of the skills.
At the end, yeah. That was sort of what I'm thinking. I think with all the stuff that I've been trying to do this year, it's mostly just me trying to find my way as a teacher. Mm-hmm. This is only the second year I've been teaching, so I don't feel as if I've defined myself as a teacher, as I'm trying to find a method that works well for me that will work for them as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to keep trying stuff, and I think that's definitely something that a lot of teachers that I see around the school do. They're constantly trying to develop new skills, develop new ways, and see if that works with the students, and whether that will get them the results that sort of they're looking for in student learning.